wasting my time. I don't know why I can't get you out my mind. Yeah, so lost, where do I go? I was in the chase, caught a flat on road. It was all love, X no O. I was feeling rich, but we turned out broke. Guess I let my feelings take control. Guess I let my demon take the wheel. Used to think that we be growing old. Now I can't believe that it was real. It was back in late December when I did it. I just wish I could forget. Cause I had how much I love it, oh I hate how I just love to catch a feel. Yeah, I've been wasting my time. I don't know why I can't get you out my mind. If I find a way to get it, when I do it, I can live it and forget. Cause I hate how much I love you, or I hate how you just put me in my feelings.
Tuesday night Forza Motorsport Spec Racing here live on Twitch TV. Let's get it going. AMS Storm now here on lap number 34 of 34, jumps into the top spot. And here comes Maverick now, going to make a run to the inside on Drex, perhaps missing his mark. Hello, race fans, and welcome to X-Venture Live on Twitch TV. I am Dustin Moore. I'm your host. I'm your master of ceremonies. I'm ready to get you kicked off. Week number 4 of the Forza Spec Racing Series, season number 45 in the Barth 695. I almost forgot the number of the car. It needed to come up with a better name anyway. Week number 4. It is the penultimate week of season 45. Next week will be the finale. This does mark the last point of the season in which we have that 2-race format. Going to be happening out at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. I can't wait! I'm shaking. I'm actually shaking. It might be the coffee, but it might be the fact that it is Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca finally on the schedule here. It seems like I haven't commentated a race out here in forever. It's going to be a lot of fun. Monterey, California. And then race number 2, equally exciting. Big, huge, sprawling 4+ mile track that is Road America. And yes, they are racing in the Fiat Abarth 695. Pardon me. I guess it's just the Abarth. Move the Fiat part. The Abarth 695 out at Road America. The full sprawling track, all 4 miles of it. It's going to be fantastic. Don't go anywhere. You're going to have a lot of fun here on X-Venture and in the racing that we've got prepared for you here tonight. Let's go ahead and take a look at the standings entering week number 4. And very predictably, for anybody who's been watching, I know I've only broadcast 2 of the 3 weeks here. I did have to skip a week. But out of those 2 broadcasts, we've seen LS Subaru come away with the wins in all 4 races. In the race that the 2 races that I could not broadcast, LS Subaru has a victory there, and AMS Huracan has a victory. So splitting the wins there in week number 2. LS Subaru, though, still at the top of the leaderboard. 297 points to AMS Huracan's 285. Creation with 268, 234 for Audrex. Poor Audrex in our intro. Always missing the mark. Oh, tear. Fear the fun. 195 points. Patches Riley, 184, 197 there for Mortismo. SFM Darkster with a 132. SFM Darkster, unfortunately, not able to compete for the majority of races here in Season 45. As I take a look at the lobby, I don't yet see Darkster loaded up, but we still got 9 minutes. Still plenty of time. Kuda 93 with 128 and Unku at 122. You see the other 10 drivers there off to the right-hand side. And a congratulations to Pushing Porsche here in our Twitch chat, otherwise known as, I think, Kurokumo in Xbox. Pushing Porsche from Twitch chat, going to be racing here in the Forza Spec Racing Series for the first time. Great opportunity. Get in here tonight and perhaps race the finale. And then Pushing Porsche will be all set up for season number 46. Whatever vehicle that might be. I do have a predictor up right now. How many drivers will qualify dirty out here at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca? Use your channel points. Those are the things that are at the bottom of your chat that you get just for being here and just for watching the stream. Use those channel points to cash your vote. There's no monetary value behind those whatsoever. So yes, It is gambling, but in the most innocent of ways I can imagine possible here on Twitch. There is a look at the schedule. Already the first 3 weeks in our rearview mirror. Today is March the 29th, so week number 4 it is Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, 19 laps, followed by 13 out at Road America. And then in week number 5, our finale, heading out to Australia, the land down under, Mount Panorama, Bathurst, for 39 laps. We've already seen how many times these drivers have gone into pit lane or have needed to go into pit lane because of the fuel situation here in the 695 of Barth. Can you imagine how many pit stops are going to be needed at Mount Panorama for 39 laps? It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a lot of strategy involved. Speaking of Mount Panorama, Bathurst, I mentioned this last broadcast. I kind of teased it as something that I might do. We're gonna make it happen again here in season 45. If you are an active subscriber of the channel, and by active I just mean you have an active subscription right here and now, then follow that link that I just dropped in the chat. There, as a subscriber, you will be able to name a portion of the track. If you're a tier 1 subscriber, which I think all of my subscribers currently are, I don't believe I have any tier 2 or tier 3. All tier 1 subscribers, you can complete that quick little form. It's really fast, I promise you. I'm not asking you for a lot. And then you could pick a corner to name. Now, of course, some folks might pick the same corner, so come up with the corner name and then give me your 3 preferred corners. And then if it just so happens everybody else has those same corners, I'll do first come, first serve. First come, first served, and then I'll reach out to you and say, hey, everybody already snagged those corners. Can you give me a 4th or a 5th corner? That way I can get you your benefit that I'm offering here. If you're not yet a subscriber, guess what? You have the chance at this moment, either with your Twitch Prime account, which yields you a quote-unquote free channel subscription each and every month. As long as you have Amazon Prime and you've linked it to your Twitch account, you then effectively have Twitch Prime, which gets you that free channel sub once a month. You can use that here, and then you can go and complete the form, or you can use your hard-earned cash, a monetary contribution in the form of a subscription will also give you the ability to go ahead and complete that form and aim a corner of the track. We've had fun with this in the past. It's not something that I do every single season. At least I haven't done it consistently every single season. But it is another way for those who already have subbed to get another benefit out of supporting the channel. And for those of you who wish to support the channel a little bit more, but you're thinking, well, gosh darn it, emotes just don't do it for me. And man, I really love watching ads. I wish there was something else that would incentivize me to subscribe. Well, there you go. You get to name a corner of the track. And then I, 1 week from tonight, will call out those corners as the drivers go round for the finale. Mount Panorama Bathurst, 39 laps. Going to be fun. Going to be a lot of fun. Alrighty. We are a couple of minutes out here from qualifying. I see a few folks have gone ahead and cast their vote there in the predictor. It looks like 2 of you have wagered 1,000 channel points. There's nobody on the other end. So if anybody would like to go against the grain right now and say that 0 to 2 drivers will complete their qualifying session with a dirtied lap, then go ahead and cast your vote accordingly. Those of you who said 3 or more don't have high expectations of our drivers and are expecting at least three to post a dirty lap in qualifying. Hey, you're not wrong, because we haven't seen the results yet. I'm not going to say you're right, but the drivers have done a pretty outstanding job here this season of qualifying cleanly. Alrighty, let's see. We've got 11 drivers, so a little bit on the quiet side here tonight. 11 drivers in the lobby, a little quiet in the chat as well. Don't feel like you have to reserve yourself, your energy, your excitement for things that are going on here tonight on the channel. You can always post up there. Maybe let me know who you think is going to win the race, what you expect maybe out of the rest of the championship or the rest of the season, who might win the championship. MS Huracan giving us a few words there in the driver's spotlight at the conclusion of week 3, saying that he was very much going to give LS Subaru a run for his money there in the championship race. And then LS Subaru came on and said, I've got it in the bag. You guys don't know how to do math. Well, he didn't say that. I abbreviated, I've truncated his response. No, LS Subaru essentially saying that, you know, as long as I do well in week number 4, I've got the championship, his 4th straight championship, if that is indeed ends up being the case here. And then AMS Huracan had a retort in the chat saying, oh, you don't think I can beat you? Well, try me. We'll see. And so here we are. Today's the day, and what better track than Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca to get things kicked off, and then we'll cap it off with Road America. If you were here last week and you're not watching now, you're wrong. There's nothing else more important than you could possibly be doing than being here. I kid. I said that in jest. But we're going to have a lot of fun here tonight. And, of course, anybody who's watching, pipe up. Let me know in the chat there. Mortismo says, good evening. Time for a doubleheader in the States. That's right. We're returning stateside here for week number 4. Both races happening in the contiguous 48, California and Wisconsin. Monterey, California. I think it's Monterey, right? And then Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. All right, we are at or nearing the top of the hour, just a few seconds away. There may be a little bit of a delay before they get rolling with the qualifying, but we'll be going here pretty soon. 13 drivers now in the lobby, up from 11. We've got LS Subaru, no surprise, our points leader. Mortismo, Audrex, Fear the Fun, Patches Riley, Kuro Kumo, XX, Old Man Baby Body, MS Huracan, Mega Chin! Look at that! Mega Chin back in racing form here tonight. Slow Motion Fire, Gumby Greg, Cratrium, and Kuda 93. Yep. Back to the States. Oh, there we go. We've got somebody who decided that, hey, you know what? If nobody is going to wager channel points on the other end, I might as well. And so we've got one viewer now who's put 310 of the channel points there up against the 1,000 of you who say that 3 or more of the drivers will finish with a dirtied qualifying time. Whereas that sole person, at least for right now, and there are, how many minutes are left? There are coming up on 6.5 minutes remaining in that predictor. Some of you may be using the good old waited out strategy here. Waiting for us to get out on the track and then maybe use what you see there as an informed decision or make an informed decision based on what you're seeing out there. I don't blame you. What else is there to say here as I try to burn time going into the first race of the evening? Again, if you're a subscriber, click on that link there and go ahead and name a corner of the track. Love to see what y'all come up with. Creative minds coming up with some fun words, fun things for me to say as the cars go round the track out at Mount Panorama for the finale. All right, here we go. Ready to go. Not really racing at this point, but qualifying. Ready to go qualifying. 3 laps of qualifying. It's going to be Patches Riley in the Pasta, the Berea car. Down the hill, up to the Andretti hairpin. Turn number 1 and 2, I do believe. I think it counts for a couple of corners there. Then hang a right underneath the bridge, which has changed over the years. In Forza Motorsport 7, it happens to be the Continental Tire Bridge. Then you've got this right-hand corner, which is kind of blind. You saw there off to the right-hand side, the catch fence kind of blocks your view there for a bit until you roll up into the first, or the last 50 feet before the corner curves. And then here's where it really gets fun. You head uphill. The left-hander that has gotten us all at least once. Like, there's got to be a driver who, no matter how good they are, they've been caught up with that corner. Out into the sandbox they go. But here for Patches Riley, keeping it within the white lines, up the Ray Hall straight, and now into the famous corkscrew. Does it get any better than that? I mean, still, quite possibly one of the more recognizable, exciting, technical series of corners in all of motorsports. You can call that a bold claim. I'm gonna stick with it. There comes Patches Riley. Now you see Cratrim closing in. Cratrim in the Kirby car. And here we go. Patches Riley with a 140.492. 140.492. And as the rest of the drivers come across the line, we'll see who is going to move up to the top spot. Let's go ahead and let's go to, well, we were just looking at Patches and Cratrim. Let's go to Cuda93 right now. Cuda93 with the top time, a 140.2, and then here comes LS Subaru with a 137.8, knocking almost 4 whole seconds off Cuda's time is LS Subaru. That's on the standing start. So now we'll see how everybody does here on the first flying lap of qualifying. Cuda93. Every time I see that car, I just crave Oreos. It's such a well-done design. I mean, it's not just an Oreos logo. The whole car is just very well put together. If penmanship was a livery, Cuda's got John Hancock's signature right there, all over the 695. Looks good. Let's go to Martismo, 5th quickest time out of the standing start underneath the Pepsi signage. Here at Monterey, I keep saying Monterey, but nobody's confirmed for me whether or not that is the case. I don't know why I all of a sudden have this apprehension and think I'm wrong. So I'll just simply call it Laguna Seca. It is sunny. It is dry. One of the original founding tracks of the Forza Motorsport franchise. And we can't race at night or with any weather. It's been like this, folks, for 15, 16. How long has the Forza Motorsport series been around? Way too long to just have dry and always sunny track. Here we go. We're actually running out of time in qualifying as it relates to the predictor. So somebody could snipe the response here at the very end. That or my predictor thing is just nope. It's only got a minute and 25 left, but our drivers don't even have that much. So it is what it is. It is what it is. We've got 2 on one side, 3 on the other. How many drivers will have dirtied qualifying laps at the end of this qualifying session, 3-lap qualifying session? Let's go to Fear the Fun now, who has the 5th quickest time. Fear the Fun with the Alitalia livery. I mean, if you're gonna drive an Italian car, you might as well have an Italian airplane livery, right? Right? And there they go. So the qualifying times now coming up on the board. I guess it really doesn't matter in terms of the predictor on this one. If I said who was going to have the quickest qualifying time, well, that would be a little bit of a difficulty in having the predictor still up, but I don't suppose you could have really easily forecasted who would have dirty qualifying times no matter how long the predictor stays up. Well, I guess up until the point we look at the leaderboard or the final results. AMS Huracan, by the way. AMS Huracan grabs the pole position, which is kind of a critical pole position. Of all the tracks I can think of, Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca is one of those that having pole, I think, is super beneficial. I don't know. We'll see. Creighton with a 135.9. Patches Riley with a 137.3. Fear the Fun with the 137.1. Kudo with the 137.4. 138.1 for Audrex. 137.3 for the old man baby body. That's a dirtied 137.3. So that's one. 135.6 for LS Subaru. That's good enough for P2. Martismo with a 137.026. Kurokumo with a 139.4. If that is pushing Porsche, then that's not a bad lap time at all. 139 there for Kurokumo. Gumby Greg with a 142.4. Mega Chin with a 141.555. 140.4 for Slow Motion Fire. And a 135.6 for AMS Huracan on pole. All right, so Slow Motion Fire will do the thing behind the scenes to get everything readied up. And, wow, either the drivers have... I don't know. Either Slow Motion Fire did everything super quick, or the drivers are just readied up for no reason, because everybody is readied up right now. I don't think Slow Motion Fire got it all organized that fast. I don't know. I could be wrong. We'll see. Let's go ahead and jump back to the current leaderboard for season number 45, entering week number 4. This is the penultimate week of the season. 5 weeks per season. The first 4 of those weeks have 2 races apiece. That 5th and final week is the grand finale endurance event, so to speak. 39 laps out at Mount Panorama, Bathurst. They go ahead and pay out the qualifier here. Congratulations to those of you who said only 0 to 2 will have dirtied qualifying times coming out of that race, because AMS Huracan qualified for pole. I'm going to go ahead and throw up the predictor that asked the question, will AMS Huracan win at Laguna Seca? Very simple. Yes or no. I'm going to go ahead and give you the full time here. Let's go all 30 minutes. Let's go all 30 minutes on the predictor. Wager your channel points that are worth absolutely nothing, and see if you've got the correct answer to that question. All right. Lobby is getting sorted. We still have the 13 drivers that we saw there during qualifying are still in the lobby. We'll see if maybe another driver or two jumps in. A few that kind of stick out to me as not being in the lobby at the moment. Onion with too many eyes. Barney. Modern Weapon is not out there at this point. Beer 98G not out on the track. So a few familiar names not making it here this evening, but that's the beauty of the Forza Spec Racing Series. You sign up, you race as many races as you possibly can. If you got to be out for personal reasons or something just comes up, completely understandable. They'll be here for you next week. All right, so head on over to reddit.com/r/fm4. Let me see if this works. Nightbot wasn't working earlier. Oh, there we go. Nightbot's working now. Perfect. Reddit.com/r/fm4 is where you need to go. All the details about this season are posted there. As soon as information about season 46 gets publicized, that's where you will find it, and that's also where all the registration happens, so that you can get involved. Much like Porsche, pushing Porsche, who says he's jumped in here. Give it a shot. Give it a shot. Even if you're like, yeah, let me just do a race or 2 races. Let me just do a week and see how I fare, how I feel about it afterward. Then do that. Make it happen. Got a lot of spots available on the grid here today. That would be 10 open grid spots here this evening. Let's try to tighten that gap up a little bit here going into season 46. And then let me see here. This should also work. There we go. That command is working now as well. Again, that's where you can go if you're a subscriber to the channel. Click on that link, fill out the form, super fast and painless, and you can name one of the corners out at Mount Panorama Bathurst, which is fun because then I have to say it as the drivers go around the track a week from tonight. If you're not a sub, good opportunity here for you to stick around through the evening. And if you enjoy the content and you want to support the channel that much more, then you could do so with a Twitch Prime subscription or a paid monetary subscription. I got to take a quick little break here. I will have everything ready to go, so Soul Motion Fire, don't wait for me. I got to take a real fast break, bio break, and then we'll be right back for the first race of the evening out here at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. Getting ready for 19 laps, 11 corners, 2.24 miles. All right, it looks like I'm back just in time. Lobby is loading up. AMS Huracan on pole. LS Subaru opposite of him there in P number two. That's a weird way of saying it. P2. And as soon as AMS Huracan and that tender vehicle move like he just has, everybody else is free to go. Kick the tires, light the fires, ladies and gentlemen. Week number 4 is underway. On the road to the Season 45 Championship, AMS Huracan leads them into the Andretti hairpin, turn number 1, and already right off the bat, we've got the feared loading screen. We'll see what that's all about here in just a moment. AMS Huracan, though, remains out in front. It looks like LS Subaru is holding out a position there in second. Behind LS Subaru, it's Kratrum in third, Kuda, Fear the Fun, Patches, Riley, Audrex, Mega Chin, Slow Motion Fire, Old Man, Baby Body. Those are your top 10. I didn't see across the ticker there as to what may have caused. That's usually caused by somebody disconnecting from the lobby. However, the ticker seemed to kind of skip right over that. I didn't notice. No, they're all out there. All 13 drivers who started this race are showing as out on the track. Back behind, Kurokumo is now up to 10th position. Old Man Baby Body in 11th, Muertismo in 12th, and Gumby Greg in 13th as we see our race leader and top qualifier, AMS Huracan, down the corkscrew. LS Subaru in tow. Into the left-hander. You got one more right-hander on the track of the 11 corners here at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. I'm sure we'll see the sponsorship update come Forza Motorsport, the next title. As a matter of fact, the teaser for the next Forza Motorsport title was all arranged here at Laguna Seca, as it featured mostly the corkscrew section. Across the line, beginning of lap number 2, AMS Huracan continues to hold on to the lead, and it's a, I don't know, maybe a half a second lead there, 5/10. Possible. Into the first right-hander of the track. LS Subaru still in third, or excuse me, in second. Cratrum still in third. Kuda 93 in fourth. Fear the Fun is in fifth. Drex, Patches Riley, Megachin, Slow Motion Fire, Kumo, our new name, new face here in the Forza Spec Racing Series. Going to be sporting that orange number board. That's how you know that's a rookie. That's a rookie out there, Kumo. In 10th, holding off Muertismo for now. That's going to be a challenging task. Muertismo is no driver to scoff at, and as a matter of fact, as I say it, Kumo falls back to 11th position, heading up the Ray Hall Straight. And Kumo now back up to 10th. It's maybe a little bit of a tap there from Muertismo as they enter the corner, and back behind them and showing very little patience. That's going to be Old Man Baby Body. Had no way to get around there as Muertismo and Kuro blocked both lanes of traffic. A rolling roadblock, if you will, going into the corkscrew. And now into that final left-hander, turn number 11! Kumo and Muertismo get into it. Muertismo was going down onto the low line, and as a result, when Kuro turned in, made contact. And unfortunately, I didn't have the replay buffer rolling at the time, so I'll go ahead and get that started now, but you'll just have to believe me that it happened. don't have the replay to prove it. I hate it when I do that. Here is LS Subaru, who has closed up the gap a little bit here on AMS Huracan, as they head back up the hill underneath the VP Racing Fuels signage there, the bridge, into that tricky and what can be a tricky left-hander. And now side by side up the Ray Hall Straight, AMS Huracan and LS Subaru. And just like that, LS Subaru at least gets a nose out in front. Huracan's going to have the advantage here through the left-hander on the apex. And let's see what Huracan does here into the right-hander. He's going to stay on the outside as Subaru holds down the low line. Huracan will have the inside line here at turn 11, back toward the start-finish line, beginning of lap number 4. Back down the hill into Andretti. And it looks like Huracan happens to run it wide a little bit. Didn't hold the line. And so Subaru had a chance, but wasn't able to make anything of it. And instead falls back onto the rear bumper at AMS Huracan's tender 695. Single file formation. Up Ray Hall, Cratrum back there, spectating in third. Kuda is still in 4th with Audrex in 5th. Fear the Fun has dropped back to 6th position. Patches Riley in 7th. Slow Motion Fire in 8th. Mega Chin in 9th. Old Man Baby Body. After the incident between Cratrium and between Mortisbo and Kuro Kumo, Old Man Baby Body moves up to 10th. Mortisbo in 11th. Kuro Kumo in 12th and has quite a bit of ground to catch up there. Has fallen way back, just out in front of Gumby Greg in 13th position. Down the hill, you got the backfire, the runoff of the fuel, skipping on through the exhaust with the flames out the tailpipe. This is a B600 Abarth 695. B600. Oh, Huracan gets up on well inside the curbing where they've got an elevated part of, I don't know if it's rubber or asphalt, whatever, to really keep you from treading that far into the corner. And as a result, AMS Huracan got up on the two wheels, the two driver's side wheels, into turn number 4, and very nearly had all 4 tires off into the dirt, but was able to save it. And because of the momentum that Subaru was carrying through that corner, he was on the same track as Huracan, the same line, and could do nothing more than just decelerate with Huracan. It isn't the most pass-friendly track. Really, one of your best places is going to be right here on the front straightaway. AMS Huracan continues to lock it down. Perhaps watching in the rearview mirror, seeing where LS Subaru is trying to go, and just making enough an adjustment that nowhere for another vehicle to scoot by, except for into turn number 1 here, where AMS Huracan leaves the door open and LS Subaru says, well, I don't mind if I do. Let's go to Cratrium, and let's go ahead and ride on board with Cratrium. See this battle before him from his perspective. There goes Cratrium. You see Swordfish Motorsport there on the front bumper. And the Kirby livery wrapped over the top. That's pretty nifty, actually. That's a neat little design. The Kirby character skid, if you will, kind of wrapped over the top portion of the car, just showing enough of the vehicle skid, so to speak, down below. That is nifty. I like the neat designs that the drivers come up with. Let's go to Fear the Fun, who's moved back up to 5th position. Audrex back there in 4th. Now the question that is coming to my mind is, what is the fuel situation? I'm going to guess, before we even take a look here, that everybody should be okay to go the distance here. 19 laps around the 2.24 mile Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. without having to go into pit lane. I think. Let's go ahead and take a look here. Here's the fun. 63%. It's going to be close. I mean, we are nearing the halfway point here. And at 63% fuel, he's nearing the halfway point on the amount of fuel left in the tank. So it really is, really could be dependent on drivers' driving style. We saw that last week. Or it may be a non-factor. We could see everybody just go ahead and finish this on one tank of fuel. Let's go to LS Subaru now, who, at least for a brief moment there, was in third position, having fallen back here considerably. I mean, when you consider where Subaru has been for the majority of the season, out in front, only losing a race here in season 45 because he ran out of fuel. But yeah, that bit of distance between Subaru, who now is back into third as Crate moves up. Is there damage to Subaru's vehicle? There is. Wow, what a development we have here. Subaru with aero damage, right front suspension damage, and right front brake damage. Plus, well, it said 4% on the transmission, and then that goes away. I think there is 4% damage there when it it is felt when you go to shift. But what a development there. LS Subaru in third position with damage, opts to ignore pit lane entry, and will stay out on the track. So really, that kind of answers the question of can everybody go the full race, all 19 laps, without taking a pit stop? The fact that LS Subaru is staying on the track with the damage that he has incurred, that seems to suggest that, yeah, pit stops are not necessary. Otherwise, he would take his and get a full tank. Mortismo off onto the apron, entering turn number 1. Not entirely sure what's going on with Mortismo. Perhaps has some real-world things to attend to. Let's take a look. No, actually, Mortismo's car is obliterated to an extent. Steering 100% damaged, driveline 100% damaged, and then you see the aero and suspension. So Mortismo's day, at least out here at Mazda Raceway, may be done at this point. Now, with LS Subaru falling further behind, I can only suspect as a result of the damage, Kratrum is in second and will try to close that gap with Huracan. Now, Kratrum is great a driver, the winningest driver in Forza Spec Racing Series history, at least in terms of championships. It's going to prove difficult to catch up with Huracan, especially now that Huracan is out in the open. Nobody to have to play defense against. That's going to be tricky, but second is good. In case you didn't know, second is a good position. Kratrum entering week number 4 here. Third overall on the leaderboard, 268 points. And Amos Huracan, 285. LS Subaru with 297. As is the case for every season here in the Forza Spec Racing Series, there is a drop week rule in effect. So, kind of what LS Subaru was alluding to when I spoke to him in the driver's spotlight at the end of week number 3 action. All he had to do here in week 4 was have a solid performance and effectively would have secured the championship. Well, guess what, folks? Running in third, and even at risk of falling back to 4th or 5th as Audrex and Fear the Fun in 5th and 4th respectively, start to close in. Even if Subaru does finish top 5, that's not going to be good enough to go ahead and say, yeah, I've got the championship here in the 4th week. Which, by the way, as we saw there in season 44, when Subaru effectively secured the championship in week number 4, opted not to race in week number 5. And so now what we have here going into our finale of season 45 is the need for LS Subaru to race. And I know I'm saying this very early on. We're only 11 laps into our 19-lap race, the first one of the evening. However, as promising of a performance as Huracan is capable of delivering, these seem almost inevitable at this point. That LS Subaru would need to compete in week number 5 and would need to finish out in front of at least Huracan in those races to secure a 4th straight, never done before in F4, 4th straight championship. And have to do it out at Mount Panorama, Bathurst, with the cutting and the chase and 39 laps and all the back markers. Let's go ahead to Fear the Fun coming down the corkscrew. The Alitalia car. Audrex with Chonk livery. A reimagining of the Puma logo, I think is what it is. Audrex in 5th. Fear the Fun coming up to the line and across the line. Beginning of lap 12. Field stretching itself thin here. MS Huracan, our race leader, Cratrum in 2nd. LS Subaru, surprisingly, but yet unsurprisingly, because of damage to the vehicle. We'll have to try to figure out what happened that caused that. We did not have the camera on our race leader at that time. Fear the Fun in 4th, Audrex in 5th, Kuda 93 is 6th, Patches, Riley, Slow Motion Fire, Megachin, and Kurokumo are 7th through 10th. Then it's Gumby Greg and Old Man Baby Body in 11th and 12th. Mortismo has gone ahead and pulled off to the side at corner number 1. Mortismo would be 13th. At the end of this race. Let's go ahead and take a look again at Fear the Fun's fuel situation. Down to 37%. However, oh, there goes Audrex. Audrex is going to do his best off-roading impression there in the 695. Goes ahead and drops down the corkscrew via the sand trap. And that allows Fear the Fun to pull away just that much more. Fear the Fun having a phenomenal season, if I do say so myself. Fear the Fun is a good driver, but sometimes just can't pull them together race after race. Can't pile up a good number of runs. It's been the opposite here in season 45 with the Barth 695. Fear the Fun at 195 points, 5th overall on the leaderboard, just behind Audrex. And so Fear the Fun trying to pick up some points to surpass Audrex here, coming out of week number 4. Just a few minutes left here in our predictor. Will AMS Huracan win the race? Well, or excuse me, yeah, will AMS Huracan win the race? And so far, looking that way. I maybe let that one run a little too long, too. I'm doing a bad job, a poor job at judging the length at which the predictor should run. Shame on me. That's for fun. It's all for fun. Let's go up to Cratrum in 2nd position. Not often do we get a chance to kind of hang out with Cratrim here on the cast, as typically finds himself on that racing island there, third, sometimes fourth position, but 99.9% of the time, Cratrim is just kind of lurking there in third, behind Subaru and Huracan. Sometimes Darkser. Darkser not racing this evening. At least not here. If there's one racetrack in the world, just one, if I only get one, there's one that I could ever drive, it would be Laguna Seca. I know, I lived in Germany. My answer should be, and I should have, while I was living there, should have driven the Nürburgring. But you know what? The Nürburgring, as, and I'm talking, of course, the Nordschleife, it's just so long, I get the feeling you would start to not feel like you're on a racing track, but you're more on a Grand Tour drive. And so in terms of like a more traditional racing circuit, oh, get my ticket out to Laguna Seca. That'd be a lot of fun. Go down the corkscrew. Get that sensation at 50 miles an hour or whatever whatever my skill level would allow me to go down at. How about y'all? Post it up in the chat there. One track that you could race at in the real world, what would it be? Only one. There's no, well, one, if I could drive this car, would be that track. But another track, if I could drive this car, would be this. No. Just one. Just one. Comes Cratrim underneath the mother's wax and car cleaning products. I guess that's what they mostly produce, right? Car care products, I think they're called. Let's go ahead and go to the very back of the pack, where we've got a nice battle back here for 11th. It's Gumby Greg and Old Man Baby Body. Comes Old Man Baby Body looking on the outside of Gumby Greg, coming up to the 11th and final corner here. Gonna try the old switcheroo. Almost made it work. As Gumby Greg in the matte paint. I like that. That's a really sharp looking livery there. The Rheingeist, I know I've called out the livery before. I just never acknowledged the fact that it's got that really neat matte paint design. The dark blue transitioning to the light blue, then into the pink. That's a sharp looking car. And then Old Man Baby Body there in the I think I've said what sponsor. Is it Mountain Dew? Kind of looks like a Mountain Dew type logo there on the hood. I gotta double check. No, batteries and bulbs. There you go. Batteries and bulbs. DWN Frog saying in the chat, not very exciting since it would just be going around in circles, but the Indy Speed, well, there you go. For historical purposes and for the thrill of going super fast. The Indianapolis Speedway. And then maybe you can convince them to allow you to drive the road course too. You can get a twofer. A twofer. Rheingeist is a brewery here in Cincinnati where Gumby Greg Beer and I live. We represent different brews. Very cool. There's Martismo, who unfortunately is reporting on the livery background from the entry into turn number 1, or I guess not the entry, but the apron there of turn number 1. Which makes sense because it said right there on the front bumper of the car, it said Cincy brewed or Cincy made. It gives a nod to Cincinnati there on the front bumper. Here comes Kracham in the Kirby car going through the Andretti hairpin here. Lap number 17 of 19. 19. It is a great... I imagine it is a great view, Mortismo. I imagine. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and ride on board here with Mortismo. Turn number 1. You get a... Well, never mind. Mortiz... Well, no, he's still there. Who did we lose? Sadly, because... Well, we did lose somebody. We've got Huracan still in first. Kracham still in second. Fear the Fun, who was having... Oh gosh, I hope that's not the commentator curse. You can't call that the commentator curse. No such thing exists on this channel. Fear the Fun, who I mentioned earlier, was having a wonderful season here through the first 6 races and having a good run here in the 7th, up there in 5th, disconnected. And now we see AMS Huracan making his way through back markers, some of the lap traffic. And sorry, I'm trying to talk over the sound of the fearsome motor here of the 695. Again, B600 performance index here. That's just a little bit above the midway point of the Forza Motorsport 7 performance index spectrum, or maybe it's like right near the midpoint, because you do have several classes above. Yeah, it's probably more midpoint. 280 horsepower, 275 foot-pounds of torque, 1,923 pounds of vehicle curb weight. AMS Huracan with only just a few little bumps there in the few meetings that he had with LS Subaru, the few exchanges that he had with Subaru there through the first 10 laps or so before something went terribly wrong for LS Subaru, who has fallen back significantly, and that is definitely the result of vehicle damage. I mean, Subaru is probably pushing that car to the max, but with the damage, this is the best that the 695 is going to be able to do for him. Hanging on to a top 3 spot, or at least going to try to here with about a lap and a half. I think that 2 laps to go. Well, no, it will be a lap and a half. Audrex is back there in 4th, and now that Audrex probably thinking, well, gosh darn it, Fear, if you were going to disconnect, why didn't you do it sooner? That way I didn't have to battle for 4th with you. Audrex gonna maybe try. Well, not gonna maybe. He's gonna do everything he can, but maybe catch up with LS Subaru on this 19th and final lap. The white flag has dropped as everybody drives by the flag stand. Even those cars that are maybe a lap down out here anywhere on the circuit. Once the lead lap traffic has completed their race, then the race effectively is done for everyone. So even if you are a lap or 2 down, you'll stop racing when the lead lap cars are done racing. Underneath the Pepsi sign, Rahal straight, corkscrew for the final time. It's the number 99 car, AMS Huracan, who, by the way, has ditched the didn't Huracan have the Motel 8 livery, or excuse me, Motel 8 number board here on the car? And I was giving him a hard time about it for those first 3 weeks. Well, it looks like that has gone away, and actually it's the 919 car. 919 across the line. AMS Huracan picking up his 2nd victory here, and going to go ahead and make this championship go to the 5th and final week, even with 1 more race remaining here tonight. AMS Huracan going to stay in the running on the road to Mount Panorama. Kracham going to finish in 2nd. LS Subaru is going to somewhat hobble across the line. I mean, If that's hobbling, that's like my normal racing speed. But for LS Subaru, that is certainly hobbling. Third position goes LS Subaru. Audrex in fourth. Kuda will pick up fifth. Patches Riley is going to snag sixth position. Just so happens that Patches Riley is sixth overall on the leaderboard entering week number 4. Seventh goes to Slow Motion Fire. Eighth will go to Kiro Kumo, racing for the first time. Well, I say that. Kiro Kumo is going to have to hold off Mega Chin here through the last couple of corners. Mega Chin going to make him work for it. Into the left-hander. Runs a little bit wide. You got some runoff space to work with. Taps the dirt ever so slightly. And across the line. 8th, 9th, Kurokumo, Megachin, respectively. 10th goes to Old Man Baby Body Gumby Greg, and 11th, Muertismo, who unfortunately we haven't seen out on the track apart from parked into turn number 1. Muertismo gets 12th. Fear the Fun, sadly with the DNF, finishes 13th. All right, folks, you know what time it is. We go ahead and take a little bit of a break here. And welcome back to Xventure Live on Twitch TV. I'm Dustin Moore. as we get ready for the second race of the evening in the Abarth 695, heading out to Road America here in week number 4 of season 45, the Forza Spec Racing Series. Going to go ahead and go over to the driver's spotlight. LS Super. I'm going to cut right to the chase. What happened?
Yeah, we were going side by side on the straight, and I was trying to edge Huracan closer to the wall, and unfortunately we came into contact, and because of Forza's unique physics, we'll say, my rear quarter panel got stuck to his front bumper like it was glue, so I had to counter steer. And unfortunately, I sim twitched and hit the wall, and it caused me some damage that I had to put up with for the rest of the race.
A little bit of a strategic maneuver there to try to block Amos Huracan from making much progress, and it resulted in that incident there. A little bit of the nice Forza physics at play, and off into the damage territory you go. You're able to stay out there on the track. I was telling the viewers that had this been a race where pit strategy was required, that a race would not allow everybody to go on a full tank of fuel, you would have had the option to go in. Obviously, knowing that wasn't the case, you stuck it out. How did the car drive for the remainder of the time?
The car drove pretty similarly. The main thing that I lost really was just a little bit less grip and a noticeable amount of less top speed. But other than that, the car drove okay. The suspension was a bit bouncy because I had suspension damage, but that was pretty much it.
And at the time, I was watching Odd Rex and Fear the Fun. They weren't right in your rearview mirror, but they were back there. At any point, were you thinking that you were going to have to defend for even holding on to third, or were you pretty confident that the car would at least hold up until the end of the race?
Well, I had a feeling that fear was catching up very quickly, um, and that I was going to have to at least make some effort to defend. But I guess fortunately for me, he ended up disconnecting, which which pretty much secured third place for me in the race, which was it's good for me but unlucky for Fear, because hadn't he disconnected, he probably would have overtaken me, and I would have had to finish the race in fourth.
Talking with LS Subaru here in the driver's spotlight at the conclusion of race number 1 this evening, race number 7 overall on the schedule, finishing in third position, not where we typically have seen LS Subaru, who has 5 victories on the season here. Was trying to get the 6th. Unfortunately, that fell through. How do you turn it around out here at Road America? You got a little bit more road to play with on both sides of the car. Obviously, 4.024 miles or something to that effect. A long track. Pit strategy. Are we coming back around to it here in this race?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about Road America. This should be an interesting race. In a situation like this where I finish third, it is preferred if I win the race or at least finish second. But yeah, we'll have to see what happens.
You skirted around the part about the pitch strategy. Is that on purpose?
Maybe.
All right, we'll have to see. Last time we talked to you, this sincerely about pitch strategy, you said, "Oh no, I think I'll be okay, but we'll see." You were trying to, I guess, play both sides of the coin there, and ultimately you were able to stay out where mostly everybody, if not everybody else, had to remain or had to go into pit lane. So it'll be curious to see LS Subaru finishing third at Laguna Seca. Best of luck to you here at Road America.
Thank you.
All right, so LS Subaru going to try to eke out as many points as possible here in week number 4. Each race is worth 50 points if you happen to be the victor in that race, and so obviously those 50 points will go in AMS Huracan's direction, which is good for Huracan. Again, because of the drop week rule, what we have to remember is our standings that we looked at earlier, and I'll go ahead and flash them back up here on the screen while we wait for Slow Motion Fire to get everybody ready for qualifying. What we don't have reflected here are 3 weeks worth of points. What you actually see are the actually, you know what? I'm just now realizing I might have put the total points and not championship points. Because what we should have here is LS Subaru with 200 points in total versus 297. 297 would be total through the first 3 weeks. So I might have goofed that up, and hopefully that is at least accurate 1st through 20th. If I am reading this correctly and realizing that I did goof it up, know that these would be championship points, and what this does not reflect is the drop week rule. And so I'll get that all sorted out come beginning of week 5, the final week. I don't know. I sometimes I don't recognize, or I don't pay attention to the headers in the race points doc that Slow Motion Fire has available, and it is available there at reddit.com/r/fm4 if you want to take a look at it for yourself. Because there is a column for championship points, and then there's a column for total points, and so I must have grabbed from the wrong column. Either way, let's go ahead and do the thing that we really care about most, which is the on-track action. Yes, I know points matter. That's what defines championships. But really, for the here and now, in this very moment, it is the racing, or in this case, the qualifying, that matters most. It is an overcast day here, Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. We are going to do 3 laps of qualifying. This is the full circuit, so it is going to be a long qualifying session. Let me throw a quick predictor up here real fast. I forgot to do so, but we can get one going real quick. We can do that. Oh, Patches Riley is going to go ahead and do a little bit of drifting coming through turn 3. Let's see, what would be a good prediction here? Let's just do, will LS Subaru win at Road America? So we're going to go ahead and skip the whole predictor for... We're going to skip the predictor for qualifying, and we're just going to go ahead and open it up for a 30-minute predictor question of, will LS Subaru win at Road America? And of course, you can wait for the qualifying to end to understand where Subaru will place on the grid, as if that has had any impact on his finishing spot at all. It rarely does. It rarely does. Race stats, we'll put those there in the bottom left as Patches Riley goes under the Johnsonville Speedville sign into the big time carousel. And we'll pass by the little jut out, which would be the full circuit alternate there to the left. I think that's mostly for the motorcycles when they race. And now here on the back half of the track, coming up to Canada Corner, Rachel moves out in front only for the purposes of physical positioning on the track. It is irrelevant as it relates to Patch's position. What we're looking for here is top qualifying time. Into that final right-hand corner, turn number 14. This is 3 qualifying laps, 2 flying laps ahead of the 13-lap race. That is race number 8 of the season. 9 races in total. 1 week from tonight we'll be in the Land Down Under for the finale at Mount Panorama Bathurst. Cratcham at a 231.057. Go to Gumby Greg. Gumby Greg with, again, that nice A beautiful brewery livery. I'm trying to remember what the brewer's name is. Let's see here if I could. Rheingeist, that's right. Sensi made there on the front and the back. Let's go to Mega Chin. Try to give a little bit of camera time to some of the drivers who maybe find themselves a little bit further back in the pack during the race, but it don't matter. Those aren't discouraging words, or they're not meant to be discouraging words. We've got drivers of all different skill levels out here on the track. So, sure, we put a lot of the attention on those who are at the front of the pack and vying for the top positions. But if you want to race and you're not too concerned with how often you are shown in the broadcast, then that's cool. You can be wherever you want on the track. You could be on the lead lap and mid-pack, lead lap, back of the pack. You could be down a lap or two. If you're racing clean, that's all that really, really matters. And if you're having fun. I get it. You can race clean all day long, but if you're not having fun, then what's the point? But if you're having fun, then who cares? You could be 15th and 10 laps down. If you're having a good old time, then you do you. LS Subaru with the quick time now of 2:27.109. Go to Kiro Kumo, the new name out on the track. Again, sporting the orange number board. That's not to coincide with the Jägermeister livery. By the way, gosh, there was a time where Jägermeister was something I would order. Now I don't even dare stand near the bottle. Just the smell, the odor of Jägermeister makes me regret all those life decisions of ever tasting it. Oh, I don't know how I did that before. Across the line goes Kiro Kumo. Sorry, welcome to FM4. As I have heartache over the livery. No, yeah, it's cool. It looks good though. Good looking car. And a good first run, finishing in 8th out at Laguna Seca. All right, let's see. It looks like Amos Huracan now with the top time, 2:24.083. Let's go to LS Subaru. Go ahead and watch Subaru on the third and final lap here at Road America. And now LS Subaru out of the final corner, turn number 14, heading up the hill underneath the Verizon Bridge. Gonna clock in at 2:23.248. They're on that final flying lap able to secure pole for the 13-lap race here out at Road America. Springa says Jägermeister and Goldschlager mixed together is great. Get out of here, Springa. There's no way. I've had both of them. Jägermeister is definitely my least favorite of the two. But mixed together is great. Yeah, okay. Cratrum, 224.2 patches. Riley at 225.6. Kuda with a 225.4. Fear the Fun with a 229.1. Good to see Fear the Fun back out there despite the disconnect at Laguna Seca. 229.7 there for Megachin. That's a dirty lap. It'll put Megachin all the way at the back of the pack. 224.9 for Audrex. Kurokumo with a 228.3. LS Subaru, as we saw there on that third and final lap of qualifying, able to eke out the top time. 223.2, that's P1. 224.8 for Mortismo. That should be P3. If I'm not, well, actually, no. P3 goes to Cratrum. P4 will go to Mortismo. 233.3 for Modern Weapon. Soul Motion Fire with a dirty 227. Gumby Greg with a 231. And Amos Huracan, who had pole there for the longest point of qualifying, and then LS Subaru snuck up and stole it. Huracan with a 223.4. Still good enough for row number 1, P2. All right. Soul Motion Fire will go ahead and get them all organized there on the grid. Get that all coordinated. Man, what a stark difference from last week. What happened? What's going on today that everybody else is off doing something else? A little bit of a stark difference. That's okay. For those of you who have joined me here tonight, appreciate you hanging out and watching the racing action. If you are a subscriber, and I know I've got a little bit more than a handful. There's quite a few folks that are subscribed. If you haven't yet heard my my mention of the subscriber track takeover that's happening next week as we head out to Mount Panorama for the finale, there you go. All the details in the chat. Click on that link. It'll take you to a Google form, and all I'm asking you is for a name of one of the corners out there at Mount Panorama, and during the race, I will call out your corner name, whatever you named it, as the drivers get around the track for 39 laps, which I don't know. How many pit stops do we think will be needed there? I said earlier a lot. Could a lot be 3? Could it be 4, 5 even? I mean, obviously, if you got damage going downhill, that could tack on an extra, a bonus pit stop. You don't want the bonus pit stop, but out there at Mount Panorama, unfortunately, that's it's a huge possibility. Huge possibility getting down that track, the cutting, as it's known. Of course, with folks potentially naming a couple of corners, we won't know it as the cutting, but that downhill slalom section before you're at the bottom of the mountain, and then you make the mad dash toward the chase and back toward the start-finish line. Should be an exciting one, especially if the championship is up for grabs. I know we don't have as an exciting crowd, a riled-up crowd like we did 1 week ago, but if the championship is weighing in the balance in race number 9, week number 5 of the season, I don't know where else you want to be. That's going to be cool. That's going to be fun to see the championship decided in that 9th and final race. That doesn't happen often here in the Forza Spec Racing Series. A lot of times, because of the drop week rule, a driver can have one of those just garbage weeks, but as long as they have 4 solid weeks, they've got themselves the belt, so to speak, the cup, championship, the shoey. You could do a shoey. You don't get a shoey. You have to do one. All right. Folks have already gone ahead and put some channel points toward the predictor there in the chat. One of y'all saying that LS Subaru will not win this race. 2 of you with 3.2 thousand channel points saying that it will. Actually, 4.2 thousand channel points. What is that other one? Oh, the person with the most. So Kracham has wagered 3,200, saying that LS Subaru will win this race out at Road America. Soul Motion Fire telling me in the chat that we are ready to go, so let's go ahead and jump on over to the action. There you go, LS Subaru and Huracan. Row number 1, Kracham Mutismo. Row number 2, Audrex and Kuda in 3. Patches Riley and Kurokumo in row number 4. Fear the Fun and Gummy Greg in row 5. Modern Weapon and Soul Motion Fire in row 6. And Mega Chin there with that dirty qualifying time finds himself all alone in row number 7. Motors are revving up. The drivers are clutching their controller. And as soon as LS Subaru this time around peels away from the grid box, everybody else is welcome to follow. Kick the tires, light the fires. Our final race of the regular portion of the season here through the first 4 weeks is underway. Race number 8, week number 4. It looks like we may be taking the championship battle all the way into week number 5, barring anything crazy happening here in this race. And that being AMS Huracan. If AMS Huracan has a disconnect or something, that could have some serious implications, but we won't assume anything at the moment. LS Subaru out front as he goes underneath the Sargento Cheese bridge. Followed by AMS Huracan, Kracham in 3rd, Kuda in 4th, Muertismo in 5th position. Then it's Audrex, Fear the Fun, Patches Riley, Kurokumo, and Modern Weapon all the way back to 10th. 13 drivers starting this race here, I think. Yes. 13 drivers. So we had 13 in our first race in the evening out at Laguna Seca, 13 here. Hopefully everybody can stay on the track. And now, down the hill they go toward that Johnsonville Speedville sign into the large carousel. I don't know that there's a bigger carousel here in Forza Motorsport 7. You just seem like you're turning right for days. And out they come into the sweeping right-hander, which it's a do or die corner there. You run that one wide, you'll either get lucky and just scuff up your left side of the car, or you'll hit it hard and sustain damage. It looks like everybody gets through fairly easily. And now, out of the Canada corner, and well beyond Canada corner now, into turn number 14. Finishing up lap number 1. Here comes LS Subaru, where you've got a whole runoff section. You could probably fit 2 695s there in the amount of runoff space that they have here at Road America. Granted, that much runoff space exists there as the Indy cars that run out here at Road America. Gives them a chance to kind of carry speed into that 14th and final corner. Now back into turn number 1 here on lap number 2 of 13. LS Subaru continues to hold on to the lead. AMS Huracan continues to hold on to 2nd. Kracham continues to hold on to 3rd. Then it's Kuda and Audrex still in 4th and 5th. Muertismo in 6th. Patches Riley, Fear the Fun, Modern Weapon, Soul Motion Fire 7th through 10th. Then Kurokumo now has dropped back to 11th position. Mega Chin in 12th. Gumby Greg in 13th. What is to watch in this race, not only where these drivers currently sit, but what their fuel situation will be approaching, I don't know, we'll just say lap number 6.5 or 7, which is essentially the halfway point here in this 13 lap race. See where their fuel sits and whether or not they'll be able to go the distance. LS Subaru unwilling to divulge too much information there in the driver's spotlight as to whether or not a no-stop performance is possible. I got some of the better camera angles here in Forza Motorsport 7 out at Road America. Road America, another one of those tracks that has been around for quite some time. It actually went away, I think, in, was it Forza Motorsport 5 that it went away and then came back in Forza Motorsport 6 as free DLC? I think. Look at this, AMS Huracan. Gonna make a run for first here into Canada corner. He goes ahead and jumps out in front of LS Subaru. I don't know, maybe coming out of the sweeping right-hander. Maybe AMS Huracan has the gearing a little bit different, set up a little bit different. They've got the sport transmission here in the Avar 695, which allows you to adjust the final gear. So it is possible that if you have your tuning right, you may have a little bit more top-end speed. And that could have been, maybe is the difference between AMS Huracan and LS Subaru's car. LS Subaru falling back quite a bit here, about 5 or 6 card lengths. What is going on? No damage to the vehicle. Now, I said we'll consider it around lap 6.5 or 7. This, my friends, my loyal viewers, this may be a driver driving strategically. We've seen this already. Back in week number 1, out of Subaru, out at Sebring. We saw this not only at Sebring, but then again at Mugello. Monza, I don't think was so much an issue, but Mugello and Sebring definitely come to mind. Yeah, DWM Frog saying, yeah, last week as well. And DWM Frog saying, wow, and it appears he is pulling away. And then, of course, I think both of us all of a sudden had deja vu and thought, yeah, we've seen Subaru do this before. And it's all in the name of fuel conservation. Yes, here in Forza Motorsport 7, how you drive your vehicle dictates how much fuel you consume, rightfully so. And with damage turned on, simulation damage turned on here in the Forza Spec Racing Series, not only can you incur mechanical and superficial damage to the vehicle, but you can also gulp a bunch of fuel if you just keep that throttle mashed. And so what Subaru might be doing here is purposefully letting off the accelerator, which makes you wonder, will AMS Huracan, now that he's established a little bit of a lead, try to throttle back himself? Will he try to maybe not be so aggressive, maybe coming out of the corners, just kind of gradually increase the throttle? It's going to be tricky, though, here coming up the hill. I mean, you really got to be full throttle to kind of make it up this thing. It's not a super high-grade incline, but it is an incline that takes you up quite a few feet. So there are going to be several parts of the track where you definitely let off on purpose and let gravity do its thing. Here comes Cratrim and Audrex as we go to P3 here. Under the Briggs and Stratton sign into turn number 3. It is turn number 3. They count. There's a slight kink there between 1 and 3 that they consider turn number 2. It is the slightest of kinks. It's kind of interesting how some of these track organizers or track creators, determine what counts as a corner. And if you look close enough between 1 and 3, there is something there. Audrex making a lovely move here on Cratrim, runs it a little bit wide, but again, there's plenty of runoff area. Again, affording plenty of space for the Indy cars to kind of extend the track a bit, and Audrex did exactly that legally to move up to P3, at least momentarily. Take a look back at that on the X-Venture Rewind here in just a moment as they go through the carousel. Lap number 4 of 13. Let's go ahead and take a look at what Cratrim's fuel situation is. 71%. If we move up to third, Audrex, 68%. Not a huge difference there. I'm guessing Cratrum fell down to 70 maybe when I was switching cars there. So maybe a 2% difference, but that could mean all the difference. LS Subaru at 69% coming out of Canada Corner. Up to Amos Huracan, who's kind of been really not holding back on the accelerator at 66, just now 66, as he completes or is nearing completion of lap number 4. Back to that replay here. Audrex, oh, and I pushed the button a little bit too late. Audrex already making that move, but that was a very, very slick change of position there by Audrex, who's now closing in on the top 2. Out of turn number 1, and then right here, you don't even, did you see that little curvature of the track? That counts as 2. And now Subaru has apparently decided to be all gung-ho about it. Moves back up to first. I don't know. Maybe LS Subaru did some quick maths in his head there as they began lap number 5 and said, you know what? I don't know that I should be letting Huracan just be out in front like that. I think I take the opportunity to regain position, and maybe now is it Huracan who is coming off the throttle here? Maybe Huracan thinking, well, gosh darn it, if you're going to drink up some fuel to pass me, maybe I go ahead and let off a little bit. Maybe some cat and mouse games here. 62% for Huracan as we near that halfway point here, and 63% for LS Subaru. Although I'm guessing maybe those percentages will flip-flop here if Subaru continues to plow ahead. Again, this is a 13-lap race. That 14th lap that you see in the upper left, that's a cooldown lap. So really 6.5. Halfway through the next lap is what we'll be using to kind of gauge the need for fuel. Either the need for fuel or a quick change in racing style. Makes you wonder, though. Makes you wonder if Turn 10 Studios is going to implement not only more fuel strategy as it relates to pit stops, but it makes you wonder if they'll implement some way to change, to trim your fuel during the race. Now, of course, a car like the Abarth 695, well, I don't know. The 695 is a track car by nature. I mean, that's what the 695 was built for. The Abarth 500 is your everyday, city slicker that you'll see out there on the road that shares the same body but less of the performance parts. But vehicles certainly could maybe be upgraded so that they have that ability for the driver to kind of trim the fuel. Of course, you pull out a little bit of fuel, you have more air, you don't get such a big ignition, you don't get so much power, but you conserve fuel. You go ahead and decide to dump a little bit more fuel, make the engine a little bit richer, get better ignition, more power, less fuel efficient. Side by side, here comes Kuda and Muertismo for third position. And Kuda 93 in the Oreo car at least has P3 for the blink of an eye. Well, a little bit more than that because we'll have the inside line. And that's the line that you want in that left-hander toward the Speedville sign. And so Kuda now entering the carousel in P3. What has gone on here? We've got LS Subaru in first, Audrex in second, Kuda 93 in third, Muertismo in fourth, Huracan now in fifth position. What did I miss? Huracan, who does not have any vehicle damage, all of a sudden is battling it out with Muertismo and Patches Riley. And actually, Patches Riley. So, interesting. I don't know if Huracan has gone ahead and decided that, you know what, this fuel situation is going to be a lot more dire than I maybe originally expected. 52% here. Now they're a lot a bit more than 6.5 laps in. They're almost 7 laps in here as they come up to the start-finish line. Well, actually, I take it back. This would be 6 laps completed, and then halfway through this one would be halfway through the race. So I forgot there. I'm getting ahead of myself. But really, this lap right here, or at least halfway through it, marks the halfway point of this. And at 50% fuel, now, yeah, right at 50% fuel there for Huracan. Huracan may be thinking, gosh, this is going to be real close. Might be playing the fuel game. Audrex at 46%. LS Subaru, who has reclaimed the lead, just now dropping to 49. So despite the fact that Subaru fell back to third and then went ahead and thrusted the 695 forward back into first, still right around 50%. Now, I would say that this is probably about the halfway mark right here. And 48%, that is going to cut it very close. Very close compared to AMS Huracan, who now is all the way back in 6th position at 47. So Huracan, he's fallen back a lot further than Subaru ever had to, and is not faring any better in terms of fuel. That could be the reason why he's all the way in 6th. He might be thinking, well, shoot, I might have goofed this one up. Might have goofed up the calculation. And is now compensating with a lot less throttle. Oh, guys, this is... I know there aren't as many of y'all here in the chat, and it's not as active tonight as it was a week ago, but this race right here... I know. I said Laguna Seca was going to be the more exciting race of the season. This one here, with what is on the line, this is turning out to be one of the more fascinating races of the 7 we've seen, of the 7 that we have seen thus far. It might have been like a change of heart type scenario where Huracan's like, you know what, screw it. I'm going the distance here. Or not going the distance. I'm just going all out. I'm just going to push my car as much as I normally would and just see what happens. And then maybe a little bit less than halfway through said, you know what, it may not work out for me. And I could really use the points. This is going to be fascinating. LS Subaru, who already lost a race this season as a result of fuel, running out of fuel, out at Circuit de Spa, is trying for that not to happen again. And here's what's really... hold on, let me go ahead and just throw another caveat. Another little factoid into this one. What's really interesting about this track here, Road America, is out of turn 14. I mentioned it earlier. You have that incline. So if you come out of turn number 14 to get the checkers and you barely have any fuel in the tank, that uphill is going to go ahead and take care of that for you. And it is still several hundred feet before you come across the line. So that last part of the front straightaway toward the start-finish line could be the make or break moment. We'll see. Audrex here now up to second. LS Subaru might be curtailing the throttle a little bit again. Now that I'm saying this as if they're all making observations in real time and on the fly. It's entirely possible and very logical to think that Subaru and Huracan already had a strategy. Some of these other drivers, however, like Audrex and now Kuda93 actually goes into pit lane. Kuda93 is like, yeah, I'm not going to risk it. I'm not even going to risk it. And joining Kuda93, it looks like maybe Mortismo? No, Cratrium. No, I'm sorry. The timing here in Forza Motorsport can be absolute dog doo-doo. Okay, so Kuda93, who I did mention, that's confirmed. Who has joined Kuda93? I gotta wait for these other cars. Oh, it is Mortismo. Well, no, I said Cratrium, and it wasn't Cratrium. Mortismo has gone into pit lane, and Kuda93, if I look a little bit further back, Fear the Fun in 10th is going to stay out on the track. And now Audrex is your race leader with LS Subaru coming off the throttle yet again. And maybe they are making these decisions on the fly. But know what that average fuel per lap needs to be. So while Huracan might have been, really pushing it early on, he had to bring it back so that that average checked out. Same for LS Subaru. Fell back early in the race, then moved back forward. Maybe now coming back off the pace a little bit to bring that average in line with where it needs to be. I don't know. No matter how good a racer you are and no matter how good a mathematician you are, sometimes what can get the best of you is that spirit of competition. And seeing other drivers pass you goes against that spirit of competition. And so you can plan as good as you want, but sometimes the best laid plans go to waste, right? Sometimes that's just the way it is. By the way, 51 and 49% split there in the predictor. Two of you saying that LS Subaru is going to win. One of you saying LS Subaru will not win. It's 4.2 thousand channel points against 4,000. We'll see. We'll see who gets it correct. LS Subaru now across the line, lap number 10. Take a look at the fuel situation. It's looking dire now, folks. It's looking dire, down to 28% with 5 laps remaining. Four laps remaining. I tricked myself. That 14th lap there is not actually a lap. So 4 laps remaining as of right now. AMS Huracan, who's now up to 4th position with a couple of those drivers going to pit lane. AMS Huracan, right now, better off in terms of fuel situation, 26%. And as always, it's me, Dustin Moore, here on the microphone, getting you through the Forza Spec Racing Series is week number 4 and through a Tuesday evening here. Hopefully your week is off to a decent start. Appreciate you tuning in. And if you're not yet following the channel, please click that follow button. That's the very least I ask of the viewers. Makes it easier for you to find me as I go live on Tuesdays, Fridays, and Sundays, and lets me know that you're having a good time. In addition to tonight's action, and like I just mentioned, I'm on Fridays and Sundays. I've got some high-flying Friday coming up here on Friday. Yes, it's going to happen. We're going back into Flight Simulator, and I'm going to have myself a new controller. I've got a yoke that is on the way. Come hang out with me as I learn how to fly using that new yoke. The High-Flying Friday, this Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern. Then, on Sunday, oh, I can't wait for this one. In addition to the the flight simulator stuff. Snow Runner. Oh, did I have a blast on Sunday? I think I have found the secret sauce of Snow Runner. The what is it called? The Dairy Longhorn. There goes Audrex in the pit lane. The Dairy Longhorn there in Snow Runner. That might be the answer to all of my questions in terms of how do I get through this game quicker. Not that I'm trying to burn through the game, but I'm really trying to figure out how I can progress a little bit faster. Snow Runner this coming Sunday, 9 a.m. Eastern Time. LS Subaru, once again, our race leader. 21% left in the fuel tank with 3 laps to go. We compare that to AMS Huracan, who is now in 3rd position at 19%. So now all of a sudden those percentages have flip-flopped again. Lap 11. Yeah, it was, Frog. It was a good old time. Down the hill. So Subaru has the edge, both in placement, track placement, positioning, and fuel. Patches Riley in 2nd position. Patches Riley has not yet gone into pit lane, and oh, you can see there's the difference in driving style. There's the difference between a driver in LS Subaru who is racing to win and a driver like driving style like Patches Riley, who, while a great driver, very skilled, is doing all he can to be out in front. And as a result, Patches Riley has got to go into pit lane here next time by, or is at risk of running out of fuel. But Patches Riley's strategy may be sound. Go as far as you can on that first tank. Be out in front here and try to keep pace with the leader as an indication of how well you're doing. And hopefully that gives you enough of a gap so that when you do go into pit lane, the AI takes control of your car. By the time it spits you back out on the track, hopefully you've established enough of a lead that you're either still out in front of your competition or that you come back out on the track near your competition on a fresh set of tires, which not really having an impact here in the 695 and a full tank of fuel. And sure enough, there goes Patches Riley into pit lane. LS Subaru across the line. I know we're getting a lot of UI action here. We're really putting the UI into the test to keep us up to date. 13%, 2 laps. LS Subaru has to go 2 laps with 13% fuel. AMS Huracan, 12%. So they're really neck and neck at this point, apart from their position on the track. So if they really stay in the same spot in terms of fuel in the tank, then LS Subaru is going to get the victory. If Huracan can find a way to eke out an extra 0.5% or 1% more than Subaru, then perhaps Huracan can make a pass in the remaining sector of the track. This is really going to be close, folks. I wish all seasons were like this in the Forza Spec Racing Series. I know a driver or two in our driver spotlight at the end of week 3 said, no, go back to the typical race of FM4, which is you just go the entire distance of the race without concerns of fuel, apart from maybe that grand finale race. Oh, I wish there was more strategy like this, though, for all of them. What a grouping of cars we've got from 4th on back to 8th. That's going to be Audrex, who is leading Kuda, Mortismo, Kurokumo, and Patches Riley. Again, 4th through 8th. So a 5-car battle here for 4th. Let's go to Kuda 93 briefly here. I know we're really, really interested in what's going to happen here for the lead. And as LS Subaru comes around the final 4 or 5 corners here of the track, then we'll switch over for that 13th and final lap here out at Road America. If I was one of the competing drivers here in the top, I'd probably be biting my fingernails down to the bone. Or I guess down to skin, right? Because they are bone. But whose strategy is going to work out best? Even if both Subaru and Huracan make it across the line on that final lap, then it's LS Subaru whose strategies has paid off because he's out in front and has now crossed that line. White flag has dropped into turn number 1. Fuel situation is as such. 6%. 6%. AMS Huracan? 6%. AMS Huracan has now dropped back to 3rd. AMS Huracan may be thinking, hey, 6 is not going to be enough. If I really pull back, that could be the only shot I have. If 6% entering and exiting turn number 1 is not enough, Huracan's only shot at winning this race is to just lazily get around the track. This might be the slowest finishing lap in a Forza Spec Racing Series event that we've ever seen. The drivers, at least Huracan, has purposefully slowed down for this final lap just to try to make it all the way to the end. DWM Frog there in the chat says, I think 6% will be enough. Cratrium down to 4%. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it really depends here. 2% in LS Subaru. He's coming out of the carousel, now just a little bit more than halfway through on this 13th and final lap underneath the Continental Tire Bridge. Into the sweeping right-hander, the sharp sweeping right-hander, I might add. You really got to throw your steering wheel to the right there. 1%. Can he make it? He has to go up the hill out of turn 14. The question really, though, is not can LS Subaru make it, can Huracan make it? Because even if Subaru can't, it won't mean anything if Huracan can't. 0% coming up to turn 14. There's nothing left. The motor is barely chugging. It is chugging, though. It is working for him. I think, yeah, he's got enough speed. LS Subaru, with no fuel in the tank, will come across the line, picking up his sixth victory. Sixth victory here in Season 45. Cratrium even comes across the line with 0% fuel. AMS Huracan tried to work out a strategy to best LS Subaru. He too comes across the line, 0% fuel in the tank, in 3rd position. 4th will go to Audrex. 5th belongs to Kuda. Martismo in 6th. Patches Riley grabs 7th. Fear the Fun looks to have 8th. Maybe not, because Modern Weapon is right behind in 9th. What a show, says DW Frog. Yeah, how many races can you think that you've ever seen in which the last lap of the race was the slowest lap of the race? And not just by a little bit, but by a big margin. And not because the drivers were close to each other and battling each other, not because there was an accident, but because of the fuel situation being so dire that they purposefully had to run that final lap. Not as slow as can be, but pretty darn slow. Wow. I am both impressed by the strategy, but then also just at awe of how close it came. I mean, we were a few hundred feet from that being a lot closer of a finish than it ended up being, because even those drivers from 4th on back were starting to close in. Had that fuel strategy not been sound for Subaru and Huracan, not only were they at risk at losing the top spot to one another, but then there was a whole pack of cars who had a fresh fuel tank that were ready to pounce, or were ready to pounce. Whew. Well, that was fun. That was exciting. And it all takes us into our fifth and final week, 1 week from tonight. We'll talk about that. We'll chat with some of our drivers here in the Driver Spotlight. You're watching the Forza Spec Racing Series. Conclusion of week number 4 here on Xventure. I'm Dustin Moore. I'll be right back. Howdy, folks. Welcome back to Xventure here live on Twitch TV. For those who were here last week and had a good time with us, I'm only sad for you because we had phenomenal racing action here tonight that it seems like a good chunk of our audience may have missed. Hopefully those of you who did miss it are able to catch up on the on-demand. And if you are, hi. Wish you were here live, but if you're watching on demand, that's cool too. A lot of folks thankfully do go back and see whether they saw the action live or not. Pardon me. Whether they saw the action live or not, a good deal of views on our on-demand. And then also you could find the recordings of each and every race here in the Forza Spec Racing Series dating back to when I originally broadcast the FM4 series. Yeah, all those recordings are available on my YouTube. Let me see. Do I know the command? Sure enough, there you go. Head on over to YouTube if you'd like to take a look back into the history of the Forza Spec Racing Series here on Xventure, formerly known as Virtual Autosports, and even formerly known as Shadow Edge Media. There were 3 name changes over the span of time in which I've broadcasted these events. So, oh, good stuff. Good stuff. You can take a look back in the past or in the not so recent past here of season 45. I'm going to go ahead to the driver spotlight and pull in Slow motion fire. Ha ha, I'm only kidding. Fear the Fun joining me. Apparently Slow Motion Fire says I called him Fear the Fun. I don't believe it, but Fear the Fun jumping into the driver's spotlight. Not the showing that you wanted here in week number 4 in what has been actually a pretty good season for you here in the 695, but I don't know. You tell us. What do you think here? Laguna Seca, Road America, what are your thoughts?
You think, because my 5700 XT likes to crash on Road America,
Yeah.
that it would crash on Road America. But no, my Xbox decided to, or not my Xbox, my PC decided to disconnect me at Laguna Seca with 2 laps to go. And then I switched to my Xbox for Road America, and I finished that race.
When do you go ahead and just make that executive decision to race on the Xbox?
There are certain tracks that I know with my PC, with my graphics card specifically,
Well,
that cause it to crash.
That you think you know. You thought Road America and it didn't.
No, that's because I switched from my PC to my Xbox.
That's true. That's true. You made the swap. You decided to do that in between those 2 races. Fear the Fun here, who had a disconnect. So what I'm referring to had a disconnect out at Laguna Seca, and then here at Road America, where clearly the name of the game was fuel conservation. I was unable to take your finishing spot because y'all shuffled yourselves up there at the end of the event pretty quickly. Where did you finish?
Ninth.
Ninth.
I was the first one to start fuel saving, and it didn't work. No, it didn't. I should have just gone full speed, pitted, and came back out. I'd have done better.
So, tell me what Fear the Fun's idea of fuel saving is. You say you were the first one to start doing it. How long did that last? Was that like half a lap?
I started lifting and coasting, going into turn 1, lap 1. Uh-huh. I did that till lap 11. I got on it for 3 laps with 28% fuel left, and by the time I was coming on to lap 13, I was at 10%.
There you go.
Apparently, I was told fuel burn was 9%, but it obviously wasn't 9% because I ran through a whole lot of fuel in a really, really fast time.
Well, I mean, 9% for somebody who's thinking fuel conservation. If you're only conserving at turn number 1 of 14 turns, that 9%
I started
may
at
not
turn
be
1, and then I did every corner.
Okay, gotcha. Well, hey, I don't know. I mean, as I mentioned during that race, the sport transmission, so perhaps maybe some tuning adjustments definitely factored in there. Knowing what we've seen here, of course, I think after a night like tonight, you're looking ahead to week number 5 to just have fun out there at Mount Panorama. Am I wrong? Obviously, I think you still have the top 5 on the overall leaderboard to fight for, but I don't know. What do you take from your learnings here out at Road America? How do you apply those to Mount Panorama? 39 laps. That's a lot of racing to try to do as few pit stops as possible.
If I didn't have bad luck, I won't have any luck, Dustin. I tell you what, it's so annoying. I can't believe it. I'm outraged because I fuel saved the entire time, and those guys finished 40 seconds ahead of me.
So here is
40 seconds ahead of me, and they had more fuel than me.
You should be plugging your ears at this moment, because anytime I say, here, Fear the Fun, here is my advice to you, everybody should just be like, I'm done. Is you make like a soapbox derby car out at Mount Panorama, and from the very top of the hill all the way down to the cutting to the bottom of the hill, you just are off the throttle the entire time.
Ain't no fuel saving at Bathurst. I'll tell you right now, I'm going full throttle the whole time. No brakes on this train because I'm tired of it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to stand for it. No, sir.
All right, everybody. Dustin Moore here, reporting from the future, Fear the Fun, with 20 pit stops out at Mount Panorama, if you can believe it or not. 20 pit stops.
God dang right. God dang right.
You got one race left in the 695. Does that have you a little sentimental, a little sad?
Do good in the front-wheel drive cars, sans the last couple of weeks. So, It's going to be a little bit bittersweet, but I don't know what the next car is going to be. But we do know it's not going to be chosen by the winner of this season because we've been doing the whole voting spiel.
Yeah, go ahead and you could take on Slow Motion Fire. You go ahead and kick back. We don't need you to chime in in the driver's spotlight here. We'll let Fear the Fun do the organizational announcements here. What's different for folks who may be familiar with FM4's traditional way of doing things in terms of the car selection for season 46?
The winner of each season gets to choose the car for the next season.
Yep.
Well, we changed that up this season just to give it a little change of pace since Subaru's won, I think, the last 3. And I think he's going on 4 this season, to give it a community choice. The people who guessed this car here were given a choice to choose next season's car. But it wasn't like it was all voting.
Yeah.
So we chose all these cars. I think it was the top 4 of 2 brackets, like 8 cars each. No, that's probably not right. Top 3 cars? Maybe
Something like that. Yeah.
And then they took that, and then they condensed it down. Then they did a losers bracket. They brought some cars back. And now I think we're on the last 2 or the last 3 cars. Maybe. I don't know. And we'll know what car it is, I think, next week or the week after.
There you go. Yeah, and I think Modern Weapon kind of helping to organize that over in the FM4 Discord. And so while that's the new kind of approach, at least for now, I don't know if you guys plan on going back to the traditional style of the championship selects, whatever.
I think it's a once in a while thing.
Okay, got it. Once in a while thing. So it may not be always the case, but if you do want to kind of keep up on all the things regarding the Forza Spec Racing Series, especially if you plan to participate, reddit.com/r/FM4 is the subreddit, and in there you can find the Discord link. That's actually where they host those polls for, people's favorite car, with that favorite car gonna the one that receives the most votes going to be the car for season 46. So there you go, a little update from Fear of the Fun, both on the on-track fun and then the off-track organizational stuff. Fear the Fun, look forward to seeing you there in week number 5. I'm sure we'll chat with you. Have a great rest of the week here.
Thanks, man. Have a good night.
Thank you. You too. All right. Also in the driver's spotlight, very predictably, LS Subaru, who not only has done a phenomenal job here in FM4 over the last 4 seasons, but has shown up consistently in the driver's spotlight to let us know what he thinks of his performance, is now here with me. You hear that, Subaru? You've done so well. You've been so dominant that they've taken from your ability to pick the vehicle for season 46. Tell us, if you will, what would have been your pick if you win the season 45 championship?
Well, I'll keep it under wraps in case I manage to win another season again at some point in the future. I might like keep it a secret for if I get the ability to choose again at some point.
Yeah, in case you win your umpteenth season, perhaps LS Subaru trying to chase down Kratchum, who has the most championships, I believe, at 10 for any one driver in FM4. All right, LS Subaru, going back to what you probably thought I was going to ask you, a great race, definitely a 180 from Laguna Seca, where you finished third. Very respectable third place finish after some damage there. But getting the victory here at Road American, what was, at least from our vantage point here, the viewers and me, the broadcaster, was kind of nail biting. Like, I didn't know if you were going to make it up that final hill coming out of turn 14.
Yeah, I ended up running out of fuel as I was going up the hill. So, but I knew that I had like enough of a gap over second place that I'll be able to at least like crawl over the finish line and still win the race. So yeah, the fuel saving, while in theory it should have been easier to do a no stop in this race because the total fuel consumption is less than it was in Monza. It actually ended up being a lot more difficult than at Monza. So yeah, it was very it was tense, but it ended well for me.
Tense it was, and I don't know if you could kind of walk through a little bit. We don't have to obviously go lap by lap, but early on in the race, you were behind AMS Urcon only because that's kind of the starting order. You were P1, he was P2. You happened to get out in front and then drop back a little bit, and then at some point, I don't know if it was lap 4 or 5, you kind of surged back up. And I thought at that point, okay, LS Subaru has thrown the whole fuel efficiency thing out the window, or fuel conservation thing out the window, and is just going to go for it. But was that, I don't know, was that part of the strategy? Was, hey, drop back a little bit, move back up? I don't know. It seemed kind of weird from our vantage point, but it worked.
Yeah, what happened was about halfway through the second lap, going around that, that long right-hander.
Yeah, the big
I
carousel.
don't know.
Yep.
Yeah, going around there, that was when I actually started fuel saving, and Huracan got past me after the fast right-hander after that, and he kind of just started pulling away, and then at some point he started fuel saving as well, but he was got his pace, his fuel saving pace was a lot slower at the start, so I was able to kind of just breeze past him as he was trying to get to grips with the fuel saving strategy. Um, so yeah, the gap kind of like extended more and more over each lap, but the amount that it extended was getting less and less as he was getting more and more adjusted to um, the fuel saving pace. So yeah, that's pretty much what happened at that sort of area.
Crazy. It was really exciting to watch, and I mean, it sounded like you were very confident in where you stood there on that final lap. But for me, I'm like, man, this could go in many different ways. I didn't even know if it was going to be you or Huracan getting a win. I mean, Kraitschum actually finishing second in that one, was not too far behind, and then even fourth with I think it was Audrex and some of the pack behind him on their fresh tires. Not that tires really had an impact on this one, but a full tank of fuel. I thought, man, if he runs out of fuel, he could be passed by a number of cars. So very exciting stuff. For those of us who are maybe uneducated or don't have the mind for tuning, is part of that not only just the driving style, but is part of that the tuning setup as well? And does that mean going into Mount Panorama with the craziness of that track layout that you got to make some adjustments to the car to help with the fuel efficiency as well?
The tune does have an effect on the fuel efficiency for sure, but it's not too big of a difference that you have to like make a new tune just to save fuel.
Hmm.
I've been using the same tune for my car with no adjustments since week 3 actually, so it's been pretty normal for me. Just it's more your driving style that determines that kind of helps with fuel saving more than it is the actual build or tune of the car.
Hmm.
So you just got to know how to properly save fuel in order to make no stops work.
Got it. Talking with LS Subaru here in the driver's spotlight. Week number 4 of the Forza Spec Racing Series season number 45 has come to an end. Last time I talked with you, back in week number 3, at the end of both of those races, you were very confident about your ability to take this all the way to the end for the your fourth straight championship. As we've seen in season 44, when you had that championship kind of locked in at the end of week 4, you didn't participate in week 5. So a two-parter here. How do you feel? I haven't done the math yet to understand where things sit between you and Huracan going into that final race. But how do you feel? And can we expect to see you on the track here for this week number 5 event?
Well, I did the math actually while I was waiting for the interview, um, and I don't actually have to show up for the endurance race. Um, I've actually already won the championship by like 7 points, I think. I think it's like 7 points somewhere around there. But yeah, I don't have to show up now. I've kind of done everything that I need to win the championship. But who knows? I don't know. Bathurst is my favorite track. I have more experience around that track in this car than any other, so I might show up, I might not. But yeah, we'll have to see.
Unwilling to show his hand on a couple of the events here throughout season 45 as it relates to fuel strategy, and not willing to give us a definitive yes or no. in terms of his participation in week number 5. I would expect no less from you there, LS Subaru, leaving us on the edge of our seats to find out. So more to come. Congratulations here, and in what you have unofficially calculated as a 4th straight championship. Well done, and I guess maybe I'll see you in week 5. Maybe I won't. Who knows?
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, LS Subaru telling us unofficially has secured the championship. I now bring into the driver's spotlight Fear the Fun. I'm doing it again for laughs this time around. Slow Motion Fire joining us here. I told you could take a break. We had Fear the Fun come in here and kind of explain a few things in addition to his performance here tonight, but I guess we'll talk to you. How did things, at least from your perspective, your expectations of week number 4 at Laguna Seca and Road America, how did they match up with what actually happened?
Oh, this week was pretty ugly for me. I came in with pretty high expectations for Road America, and then I managed to make a bunch of mistakes and just kind of make a calamity of the whole endeavor.
Finishing looks like maybe 7th out there at Laguna Seca, just in front of our newcomer Kiro Kumo, who kind of suggested that was going to do the best that he could, and finishing top 10 in this first race. Well done, but it looks like 7th. And then what was it maybe for Road America? I wasn't able to take score there.
Clear back in 11th at Road America.
Okay. When you say the calamities and the self-confusion or whatever it was that resulted in today's performance, what was that? Was it a lack of understanding the fuel situation, or was it just purely the racing?
No, it was purely the racing. I knew I was going to have to pit there. I tried some fuel saving, and I just couldn't make it work, so I was pushing as hard as I could. And then before my pit stop, I got up on a curb and spun the car, and that kind of determined when I was going to pit, because that was already going to be a slow lap, and then had some issues after that just resulted in finishing clear back in 11th. I had a faster car than 11th, but I did myself in.
Yeah, it's so often the case for a lot of us, particularly me. I know the car is good for it. I just can't make anything work on my driving style. And so yeah, I know what you're talking about there. What a stellar season. I mean, I know we got one more race and one more exciting race in Mount Panorama to go, but all the strategy involved in tonight's not only tonight's action but the previous 3 weeks has been fantastic. I don't know. Where do you put this in terms of racking and stacking of memorable seasons?
I think this ranks right up there. I've been having a bunch of fun with this car. The only time I've had bad weeks is when I've brought it on myself.
Yeah.
And I've enjoyed watching fuel strategies play out tonight. I don't know if it came over in the interviews, but there was quite a bit of chatter during the actual race. Bunch of people on different strategies. Will they make it? Won't they make it?
Did you sense a little bit of the nervousness in people's voices as it was coming down to that final lap, or what? Tell me more about that. You say you could hear that on the chatter of the comms. What did that sound like?
Oh yeah, it was all over the place. There's a couple people that were dead set. They knew they were going to make it. I think a couple drivers at the front. I think Huracan maybe crossed the line at 0. I think Fierce said he had to switch up his strategy mid-race because he was trying to make it and then realized he couldn't. So there was a group of us that weren't even trying from the get-go, so we were just pushing as hard as we possibly could.
Yeah. Call me sick and sadistic. Gosh. Part of me was hoping that, like, with that hill coming out of turn 14 there at Road America going up to the start finish line, I was hopeful that there would be the batch of drivers who decided not to go into pit lane, that on that last lap their cars would cough, and then we would just have 695s rolling backwards back toward turn 14 as the rest of y'all came back up toward the checkers.
I believe that's where Mega Chin finished, because I think he ran out on the last lap. So I think he finished at the bottom of the hill before the final straightaway there.
And not just at the bottom of the hill. Like, I wanted to see cars go up and then just slowly revert backwards. And and collide with everybody. That would have been the icing on the cake of what has been an exciting season, to see everybody just kind of like collapse at the end, if you will.
Well, we'll see what
Anyway, I mean,
happens next week at Bathurst, because that's a
oh yeah,
much longer track if we start seeing some fuel mileage games play out, because over 90 minutes, there's quite a bit you can do with fuel saving to try and shave 1 or 2 stops off, or might end up with cars again getting stuck on the backside of a hill somewhere. So
I propose, however this can be implemented, a no acceleration, no braking zone from the top of the hill all the way to the bottom. I was saying to Fear the Fun, it just be like a soapbox derby type situation. You guys just let the 695s and Gravity do their thing.
well, I think you just gave us a new event for the Gap Week fun racing.
There you go. There you go.
The Bathurst Soapbox Derby.
There you go. And anybody who's caught accelerating or braking, you don't get to participate in season 46, or you can, but you just get a lesser PI car. Yeah, you get a hugely handicapped vehicle in the opposite direction.
Well, we'll see what everybody votes for the car, because we got the voting going on
Yeah.
right now. So we got some interesting choices in there. I believe it's coming down to the Lancia, what is it, like the 037, I think.
Oh,
and then
is it the Stratos?
It's not the Stratus. It's the
Okay.
it's the later one.
Gotcha.
And then the we got the Ford GT.
Yep.
And we got the Cadillac Limo, or the 3 cars that
Oh
made
gosh.
it to the final voting here. So
Now see, you guys can't possibly run the limo, right?
if it wins, we're gonna run it. We're gonna have to do some serious track testing to see exactly which tracks we can fit 15 to 20 limousines on. That's gonna take some testing, but
Are you kidding me? If you guys announce that the car of the season is the limo, you're not going to have 15 to 20. You're going to have 23 drivers out there.
well, maybe that's what we've been doing wrong this whole time.
You guys got to meme card up all the way through the rest of the up until the next Forza Motorsport title releases. It's just meme vehicles.
Well, if they keep holding off on it, we've got 700 cars to get through. We'll get to all of them eventually.
A limo, then the next season is like the lowest performance index car that you could possibly race. Yeah, there you go.
I think we ran that already with the X19s.
The first season that I commented, that was a good season. That was a fun season. Albeit it was my first, so maybe I was just kind of awestruck by it all out the gate. But good stuff. Slow motion fire here in the driver spotlight. Maybe not my last question. I don't know. I always say that, and then I have a follow-up question. But LS Subaru telling us unofficially by his calculations that he has won season 45 here, his 4th straight championship. Can you confirm or deny?
Oh, I'd have to sit down and actually look at it here, but I think he's pretty much got it, looking at the number of wins he's got this season.
Is there a way where we can do an emergency collective of the FM4 governing body, if you will, to say that there is now a new rule, albeit in between week 4 and week 5, that if you no-show, you lose points?
And that kind of defeats the whole purpose of the drop week, Dustin.
Kind of does, but when the champion for the 2nd straight season, at least since I've been back, I don't know what happened in the 2 previous seasons, the 2 seasons prior, but at least last season in 45 or 44, and now this season, LS Subaru is kind of weighing whether or not he'll participate.
Oh, we'll see. The siren song of Bathurst will get him.
There you go. Yeah, we'll make sure Bathurst kind of sucks him in and doesn't let him just ride off into the sunset so quickly. All right, Slow Motion Fire. Great job. I'm really looking forward to week number 5. I mean, it's awesome when the championship can be decided there, but either way, just because of how things have played out here throughout the first 8 races with the fuel strategy and all that, Mount Panorama, Bathurst, that's going to be one heck of a race to watch. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm looking forward to it.
We'll see you there. Thank you so much, Slow.
See you, Dustin. Thank you.
Alrighty, there you go. That's everybody from the driver spotlight. Limo for the soapbox downhill, says Creep. You might get the limo just for season 46 alone for 9 races in season 46 if that happens to be the vehicle. The fact that that vehicle is in the final 3, clearly everybody decided to keep that one in the running just for the lulz, the laughs. There's no way anybody legitimately ranks that as one of their favorite vehicles. And of course, Modern Weapon must have intentionally put that vehicle into the polling just to kind of get a result like this. There's no way that vehicle makes the voting and then gets all the way to the end of voting without it being for fun. We'll see what happens. If the limo gets selected for season 46, it could be, just because of the humor in it, it could be the most memorable season just by default, just because everybody's like, yeah, that's ridiculousness. Remember that year that we ran the limos, or that season that we ran the limos? Soul Motion Fire says, great racing tonight from all the drivers. Thanks to everyone who tuned in and watched the action tonight. I agree. Thanks to, even though it was again, I don't know what happened. We went from what was a very ruckus kind of week last week with not only the racing but the chat activity to a little bit quieter of an event here tonight. But you know what? That's what happens. You know, sometimes our the activity is higher than others for whatever reason. I don't know. But hopefully everybody will join us, or a lot of folks will join us for week number 5, 1 week from tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. It should be fun, even if the championship has already been claimed. And then who knows? Who knows what's going to happen in season 46? It could be the Chevy limo. It could be one of the older Ford GT40 models. Well, I guess the Ford GT40 is the older model. Now they're just known as the GT. So it could be the Ford GT40, or it could be the Lancia. I think it's pronounced Lancia Stratus, or not the Stratus, the 037 or 070. I don't know. Head on over to reddit.com/r/fm4. That's where details on the season reside. And then, of course, as soon as season 46 is posted, you'll be up to date there. And it also has a link to the Discord where you can see some of that voting take place. And I think you can actually... Well, maybe you can't. Maybe you have to be a participant to vote. I don't know. Either way, get involved with what's going on in FM4. At some point, we'll hear more details about the next Forza Motorsport title, and I'm really excited for that. Once the community is reinvigorated with that release, I know I keep saying this because I feel like news is coming soon. Trademark TM. That's going to be a fun time. Not only out on the track with FM4, but then also here on the stream. Creep says, I was late, had a power outage. Hopefully next week I can make it in time. I hope so as well, Creep, because I know you were one of the viewers who came in last week and was having a good old time with us. So hopefully you can make it. I will have the replay right after I turn everything off here. I'll get that rolling. So if you want to watch the action back with some of the drivers, you could do that here on the channel. Otherwise, that's it. That's it for me. Again, just a really quick reminder, if you are a subscriber to the channel, or you wish to become a subscriber to the channel and you go ahead and pull the trigger with a Twitch Prime sub or a monetary, a money paid sub, the $4.99 that it costs for a tier 1 subscription, you can name a part of Mount Panorama for the week 5 finale. Just go ahead and click on that link that Nightbot has dropped there in the chat, fill out that form, and if you are a sub, I'll verify. This is trying to provide another perk, another benefit for the subscribers to the channel. I'll verify, and if you're all on the up and up with regards to your active subscription, then I'll be calling out your corner a week from tonight. And you've got all the way up until this coming Sunday. You've got all the way up until this coming Sunday to go ahead and make that decision. So if you're like, I'm kind of on the fence, but then ultimately you decide to subscribe, then you've got all the way until then to click on that form and make that happen. If that is the case, just come back to the channel, whether I'm live or not, go into the chat and do ! Name it, like you just see me do there, a couple of lines up, and that'll give you that link that you see there. And then of course I'll be live on Friday and Saturday, or excuse me, Friday and Sunday, so that you can use that command at that time too. I discovered this channel only last week, sadly, but glad I came across it. I will be here for the future action. Good stuff. Future action also includes this coming Friday. It is High Flying Friday, Microsoft Flight Simulator. Yeah, I'm jumping back into it. 5 p.m. Eastern. Be doing several hours of flight sim fun with a brand new yoke. And then on Sunday, after what was a very exciting SnowRunner broadcast, not for the reasons you might think. I wasn't getting stuck. I wasn't rolling over a bunch of times, but rather I found a truck, the Dairy Longhorn, which seems to be super efficient in what I'm able to do with it. That combined with an eight time capacity, whatever you want to call it. I got room to put 8 things on a trailer, and so I'm able to knock out a bunch of stuff. That's happening on Sunday, 9 a.m. Eastern, and then back again a week from tonight, Forza Spec Racing Series Season 45 finale. Y'all take care. Have a great rest of the week. Stay happy. Be healthy. If you get any racing action in, keep it fun, keep it safe, keep it clean. Hope to see you on Friday with Flight Simulator, if not sometime in the future. Adios. Take care. Goodbye. Peace.